Yo, yo, here we are back on White Dads Can't Jump. This is Kevin and your main man, Chad. Chad, you're back from spring break.
I'm back. Tan, a little darker than I was before I left,
Okay,
which is always a good thing.
love it. So how'd you get the tan?
Went on a cruise,
Oh, okay.
four night,
The,
four night
the magic word was in-laws, I believe.
in-law cruise, yeah, for the 70th birthday party
Okay.
for the in-law.
Got it.
So it was good. Left out of Canaveral. 4 nights on the big ship, Royal Caribbean. Good times, good times. Nothing that I would say that was great.
Okay.
Also, nothing that I would say was bad.
Got it.
Had a good time, had some fun. Would I go again? Probably not.
It's a hard maybe.
Hard, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe in a year, maybe a year or two.
Got it. Was it the company you kept or?
No, everything was good.
All right.
Literally, I did the survey.
Yeah.
8s out of 10s across the board.
B is a degree.
Yeah,
Okay.
8%. That's a good number.
Yeah.
But yeah, just not my thing.
Okay.
Not my thing. Maybe a little too confined.
Have you done a cruise before?
This is the third one.
Oh, okay.
I've left each of them with the same.
So just strong glutton for punishment.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. It's not my thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if I went on a cruise as the transportation to a destination
Right.
versus the cruise being the destination,
You
I think I would enjoy it more.
Yeah, one of the ones, the repositioning cruises where they take it from the Caribbean to the Mediterranean because obviously as the seasons flip, they need them in different spots.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Right. And you like, boom, I'm in Italy. Like I was on a cruise for 7 days and now I'm in Italy. Like,
Yeah, I can handle that.
yeah,
Like if you're just going to the Bahamas and bouncing back, it's not really.
you're literally going in a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, if you look at the map, literally you go in a circle.
Right. Yeah.
Because they make you feel like you're out at sea, but you look at the map and you're like 30 miles off the coast.
But
I get piracy.
I read an article about they made an announcement on a cruise ship that was going around somewhere in Thailand, and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, nothing to worry about. We do ask everybody to dim their cabin lights for piracy reasons over the next few hours. Probably nothing, but just to make sure.
That's like when you do an excursion in Mexico. They have the blinds on the van.
Right.
Don't open those blinds. Don't know that you're American.
We'll let you know when we're at the resort.
Right.
Yeah.
No eye contact. It's like being on the subway.
Safety first.
Right.
I did not have nearly as exciting. The kids and I hung out. We did a couple nights at Disney.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Disney, we're at the perfect age for Disney. Everybody gets excited, and so they're loving it.
Yeah. Where'd you stay at?
Boardwalk.
Oh, yeah.
So the movie at night, Moana 2, is up on the projector.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Boardwalk games.
Yeah.
My wife's completely game theoried the whole Boardwalk. So she determined that we weren't doing very good on the games where you try and like the ring toss and you're trying to get it around
The bottle?
the bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bottle toss. No,
Right.
wasn't good.
Yeah.
Kids have no skill. But what the clowns that you throw the ball at and knock down?
Keith?
Yes, we were able to crush it at that game. Connor looks like he should be pitching in like a minor league somewhere. Like I was shocked. The kid, when I was his soccer coach, I had to drag him onto the field.
I remember your soccer
Get
coach
out there.
when you're a soccer coach.
Right. Yeah. When I was told, hey, thanks for coaching the team. So yeah, he has no athletic ability that I've seen until he started pitching these balls at these clowns. So I don't know if it's a clown thing or a baseball thing, but we're going to have to unpack it a little bit.
Well, take him to the circus and see if he laughs or.
Do they do that anymore? I thought the circus was canned.
You can. They have the little flyers and like Wendy's. You can get the kids go free. Barnum and Bailey, maybe,
Go down that route.
or what's the other one? Cirque du Soleil. No, that's like a real thing.
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah, I would like to see that. They do that at Disney too.
I did go to the one in Vegas, and I went with a couple of friends, and they did not tell me which Cirque show we were seeing, and apparently it was the nudist one. So yeah,
Wow.
Everybody was
Free reign.
various forms of undress throughout the entire thing.
How did they handle the flips and the spins and the?
How did I handle them? I think was the question. Like it was genuinely shocking, and it's not meant to be vulgar.
Right.
It's like an expression of the body and
Right.
movement and motion.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah, well, I was there for it.
All right.
So
I didn't know that was even an option.
In Vegas, everything's an option.
That's true.
So yeah. So but I've also seen the Cirque show at Downtown Disney, and much more contained,
Oh yeah.
and but equal quality.
Don.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, absolutely. But equal quality. They do the jumps and the flips. So
Yeah, I think they just made a new one.
yeah, they reinvented it.
Efficient, yeah.
I wanted to see the Beatles one, but I didn't get.
Yeah, they had a Michael Jackson one.
Oh yeah, that would have been good.
Not safe for kids though.
Oh really?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, right. Understood. Got it. Got it.
yep.
Okay, so we survived spring break.
Spring break survival, yes.
So what do you have here on your hit list for today? Because I have a few things that I would like to discuss with you.
Yeah, I got some good stuff. I got some entertainment news, got some parenting, got a top 5 list. I
Okay.
think we'll bring that in as a segment.
Why don't we go, I would like entertainment for 500.
All right. So the big story in entertainment this week at the box office.
Okay.
You know about Snow White.
Yes.
You know about the controversy
Yes.
surrounding Snow White.
Well, I think so. Fill in the color here.
So there's a lot of people offended by Snow White.
Why?
One, she wasn't white, was part one.
Snow White.
White as snow.
Sure.
Right. So there was that angle. And then the dwarfs. Remember the dwarves? The
Yes.
promo shot that came out of the ragtag group of people.
Uh-huh.
And so people got upset about that. And then they CGI'd them into what has been described as nightmare fuel.
They were actually humans in the original take.
Right. In the
God.
publicity shot, they were. And then people got upset. And then what happened is when they CGI'd them, the dwarves, like the real dwarves,
Right.
felt that they were being marginalized and replaced because they weren't given the opportunity to be in the movie and be represented. So you can't please everybody.
There's no winning.
No. So it came out, and then obviously the fanfare is minimal. They canceled the promotion,
Oh.
or they scaled down because another piece of this,
Mm-hmm.
which is fascinating, Gal Gadot,
Okay.
Israeli,
Okay.
main character or main lead actress,
Yes.
was a big Free Palestine person.
That's
Those things don't tend to jive.
Yeah. It's Disney and politics, not great.
Right.
Yeah.
So then it came out to, I think it said 43 million debut.
Oh,
Not good.
that seems like under expectations.
Where you want to be.
I'm guessing they spent more than 43 million to make that thing.
Probably.
Yeah.
Could be. But yeah, I haven't seen it. I've watched some reviews. The reviews were not great.
I thought that it was going to be streaming on Friday, but it's only in theaters.
Right.
Okay.
I think they probably wish they had gone just to stream.
Yeah. Because that's what they did with Little Mermaid, the remake on that.
They released that.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. There's controversy on that one too.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that controversy, by the way.
Agree with that it was controversial.
Well, here's what I think. I get that you're remaking it, but we don't need to reinvent it. Like, we love the nostalgia of it for what it was. So again, animation's come a long way. So I think that makes perfect sense that we're going to redo this thing with modern technology, but we don't need to reinvent it.
Right. Well, because then you're no longer telling the story.
You're telling a difference.
Because that was what I had heard or read and watched about Snow White, was that it wasn't the classic story.
Right.
It wasn't the classic Prince saves the day. It was the reverse engineer of...
Somehow Snow White saves the day?
Right.
While sleeping.
No, she wakes up.
Oh.
Okay. But it's also, I think, interesting to add, too, if you have Gal Gadot questioning if she is the fairest of them all, puts it in a weird, like, I can suspend belief in many things, but when I see the two of them, I don't think Gal Gadot's going to be jealous of that. But hey, to each their own.
Well, that was okay. So we went entertainment, and I kind of thought that would be a little bit more lighthearted, but there was a lot going
there. That could have been an entire episode unpacking,
I'm sure,
Disney live remakes, and
I'm sure
swapping characters. And
I have a piece of transportation news for you here.
Oh,
so there is.
You didn't drive a Tesla here, did you? Is it on fire out there? We're in Florida. We're safe here.
We're safe. That would be a different piece of transportation news. That's not where I was going. So apparently there was a boat with 8 passengers that capsized, resulting in multiple fatalities on the St. Johns River up by Jacksonville. Have you been on the St. Johns River before?
Not been
Okay.
in the St. John's
The
River.
St. Johns River is
Treacherous?
no, that's what I don't understand. And the story really doesn't go into much detail here. This is like a local Florida story. So, and we live in Polk County, which specifically has a lot of lakes. You live on a lake.
I drove past 4 of them.
just to get here.
Right.
Winter Haven, famously for the chain of lakes.
Right.
So I guess what I don't understand is a couple of things. Number one, people that can't swim and live in Florida.
That is an interesting situation because you'd think that would be part of the curriculum.
Yeah. Well, and what's really interesting is, didn't you have to take swimming in Pennsylvania?
Absolutely. We had pool class. We had to go across the street to the pool,
Right.
in the snow,
Right.
strip down,
Not in Florida.
get in the pool, learn how to swim, come back to class. Everybody smelled like chlorine. It was a great day.
Did you say you had to go across the street to do this?
Yeah, our pool wasn't connected to the school at the time.
So
Literally crossing the street.
tell me this was like a late spring sport that we did this. The way we're not.
This was school. Like,
No,
this was
but like,
class.
but did we march across in the snow?
Oh, yeah,
street
absolutely.
to get in?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. In Florida, though, no, not necessary. You don't need to swim to live in Florida. And I really think that as far as the boating, I'm sitting here looking at this article, and it's obviously very unfortunate that this happened to these people. And it happened right around the same time that the, in a different area of Florida, the golf tournament was going on this weekend, but right around the same time. And I think that it's pretty unfortunate.
Did everyone on?
No, not everybody. A few people survived, but we did have, let's see, late breaking here. We've got, yeah, it's not looking good for these folks. And I think that when it comes to boating, obviously swimming, Florida, it's important.
Probably should be drinking.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with that.
Because
Yeah,
it seems like
there was definitely drinking involved, which actually makes me think, brings me back to water. And did you hear what just happened in the Dominican Republic? The spring breaker.
was this the girl who disappeared?
Yeah.
The girl.
The
in-laws are from Virginia. This was
topic of conversation. And so we have that, and then we have the Iowa boy who they had fiercely questioned and wouldn't let off the island. Well, of course, your heart goes out to this girl no matter what.
Right.
As you're hearing the story unfold, it was kind of she and her friends had gone out, had a few drinks, few dances, few laughs.
Yeah.
Great time. At 4 a.m.,
right, when they passed out on the beach,
it was time to go for a swim.
Right, as one does.
I think the argument could be made that the night might have been over.
Right.
Like, maybe that last swim wasn't the direction we needed to head
It
with.
wasn't the story that he went to the beach with her knowingly.
Right.
Like, that's been confirmed.
Uh-huh.
And he passes out.
Bingo.
And he wakes up and he just assumes she's...
And that seems suspicious on its surface until you hear the timeline.
Right.
He is passed out at like 5:15.
Right.
Wakes up, doesn't know where he is except that he's on the beach, stumbles back to his room and is like, well, night's over.
Because last I had heard, he was not a person of interest.
Right.
So I don't know if that has changed.
But the Dominican Republic held his passport. The administration, the federal government, gave him some sort of travel document so that he could get back to Iowa. And so even though they still have his passport, he's home now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like if you are a parent, you really have to... I guess you can't control where your kids go at that point.
Right.
I mean, it immediately brings up the Natalie Holloway.
Right. We're back, right?
And that was Aruba, but that was a class trip. That's even more crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that was a high school class trip.
Yeah. I don't know that.
Which
Yeah.
is super weird.
I don't know that I'm signing off on that.
No, absolutely not. But, I mean, these things can happen, and you're down there, like, you don't know the people. You can't trust the people that you don't know, obviously. There's drinking.
Yep.
Large quantities.
Right.
Undertow.
Yeah. Rip currents.
Right.
Seem to be a problem.
Like Virginians, they don't know how to handle that. When do they have I guess they go to Virginia.
They're like Floridians trying to drive in the rain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Iowa, I mean, hell.
no concept. Freaking plow a field like nobody's business, but no concept of riptides or anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad.
It really is.
Do you have anything that doesn't involve death? Or...
No, I thought I'd start with the highlights and then take us down from there. So you went entertainment on me. I went.
Well, I got a good one too.
Tell me what you
Have
got.
you seen the Trump Colorado State House portrait?
No. the Trump Colorado State House.
Colorado State.
So they took a portrait of Trump
So
and threw it in the State House?
Evidently, this is what they do. They have the presidential portrait in the State House.
Okay.
Now, the person who did the Trump portrait, I'm going to guess, probably didn't vote for Trump based on the likeness that was chosen. So I think anyone listening, you need to do yourself a favor and take a look
Google this.
at the Trump portrait because it is worth a laugh.
Absolutely. And for those of you that are watching us on YouTube, we're going to throw it up on the screen
you'll
so
see
that
it.
you can enjoy.
Yeah, but it's pretty good. It's not the level of like the Dwayne Wade statue that came out recently or some of those really bad, but it's bad enough that he made a post about it.
Oh, Trump did? He truthed it?
Yeah.
God.
Something along the lines of maybe this person was getting too old to paint or something like that because they had
They're losing their eyesight.
I guess that person had done the Obama portrait and it was fine.
Well, okay. So then on Trump, back in your neck of the woods, the Trump administration has suspended $175 million in funding to the University of Pennsylvania due to its transgender policy. So as the representative and spokesperson for everyone in Pennsylvania,
So you're right. I do speak.
you speak Pennsylvanian.
Yeah.
Could you comment on behalf of UPenn and a UPenn grad?
No.
Oh, not UPenn?
The Penn State.
Oh,
Those are two very
pardon me.
I think you need a little different in the UPenn
Okay.
than you can into
In the neighborhood, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Transgender policy. So I assume if the administration is cutting funding, then they have a robust transgender policy.
They are fully in support of transgender, yes.
That is interesting because you ask yourself, is that something that should be acceptable at the public university? Well, not public accepted, but like funded.
Do you need to comment on it to the degree that you put it into policy?
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that I assume that the administration has said that transgender is not a thing.
I don't know their official stance, but that seems like it is close.
They've defined as male, female.
Right. Yeah. So therefore,
I think you can assume.
And I think all of this goes back to how are they going to enforce this without a Department of Education?
Well, it's funny you say that because I actually listened to the Department of Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, wife of Vince McMahon.
Yes, I am aware of that.
WWE, so that's an interesting.
Former Secretary of the Small Business Administration. Right. Yes.
Speaking of, that is who, so what I understand is that a lot of the functions of the Department of Ed are going to be moved to other departments.
Such as the SBA.
Right, so they'll be handling certain aspects of it. So I think what they're trying to do is cut out that middleman of the Department of Ed of doing different things that could be compartmentalized in other areas and not necessarily cut the funding, right? Like eliminate the waste.
Because I think that there's a misconception amongst people that the Department of Education handles curriculum.
Correct.
And that's not actually the case.
They do not.
Right. So one of the biggest functions they play is actual college, like the FAFSA form.
Right.
Which is financial aid for undergraduate education. So really, they're really more of an administrative role at that point.
Right. Yeah. Because they do the student loans.
Right.
They do the Title I funding.
Yep.
Title IX enforcement, things like that.
Federal policies. And so another aspect of this that I thought was interesting was that what the uncertainty within the Department of Education is bringing on at the higher level, not the undergraduate, but really sort of the PhD level, is the fact that a good portion of those programs, even at the most elite institutions, is funded by Department of I guess I should say dollars that flow through the Department of Education.
Right. Yeah, because Congress obviously has to approve all expenditures. So
and things like grants, for research and things. So what's happening is really well qualified, aspiring future scientists, researchers, etc., are being waitlisted and told, hey, let us get back to you in the next 6 months because these programs don't know what their funding is going to look like going forward. And to make matters even worse, if the funding gets cut, they've already made commitments to existing grad students at the PhD and graduate levels that obviously they have to figure out a way to finance.
Well, what's interesting with the whole Doge efficiency is that they stop all the funding.
Right.
To figure out where it needs to go, which obviously is not great for people that are reliant on that funding.
Right.
So it's that short-term pain for a long-term gain idea, hope.
And what I find the most fascinating is that from a business standpoint, it makes all the sense in the world, because that's exactly what Elon did at Twitter. Hey, we're going to stop paying everybody. And who complains first?
Right.
The fraudsters.
Right.
Like, not the people that are actually necessarily owed the money, but the people that are in the grift are like, hey, my payment stopped. What's the deal? And so, like, for example, back at Twitter, they had at the time Twitter.
Yeah.
He had not renamed it.
Known as Twitter.
Formerly known as Twitter.
Right.
They had something like almost 1,000 Adobe subscriptions that had not been activated. Like, no one had even clicked to turn them on.
Yeah.
And those are not inexpensive subscriptions.
Right. Yeah. Those add up quickly.
Oh my gosh. Like, and to just not be using them is insane.
Yeah. I think what happens is people are so used to government spending.
Right.
That once it's curtailed, you think you're losing something.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of like what is being turned off.
Absolutely.
And I think that is the intent. And we'll see how it plays out.
Right. Well, and so speaking of the long-term effects here, I think you can bring some interesting perspective. Historically, until 1916, our economy had actually been driven by tariffs. Like, there was no personal income tax until 1916. Yeah. And so until we started going into these world wars where we thought, oh, maybe we need to become a little bit more self-reliant and raise money for these wars that were coming up, we're going to run on tariffs.
And the gold standard.
Right. Absolutely. And so what I think is lost in the conversation and from the context of the conversation is that actually this is what made us very dominant, because we are one of the highest consumer nations in the world. And so by us not having tariffs, but allowing others like South Korea to have 50% tariffs on our goods, we're giving them the full power of our economy and asking for nothing in return.
Yeah, that's why I think the shift is so... Well, what's interesting, too, is that you'll see it on a global scale. People are like, I'm not buying American anymore. I'm not buying this and that. I'll buy Canadian goods.
Right.
Which the irony of them being upset up is that that's the goal of what we're trying to accomplish. Also, is buy America, like make it too expensive to create somewhere else.
Yes.
So you're forced to build it here. I just saw Rolls-Royce was going to open plant here.
Taiwan Semiconductor said that they were going to build a foundry and start making microchips here. They're a little worried about China coming across the Sea of Japan?
Well, yeah,
that's problematic for them.
Double there, potentially.
Right. So for all those reasons, bring it back home. Let Americans produce it and manufacture it, because they can, and Trump has stated this as part of his policy, he can eliminate taxes for anyone that makes under $150,000.
I saw that.
I mean, that is the goal of the voting base and the populace. Like,
well, I just saw that Mississippi just voted to end state income tax.
Oh, period.
Well, it's going to be it's going to be a 6-year, I think, transition. So it's going to generally
degrade down. That'll be a huge boon for them,
because that'll be, I think, the 12th state, 11th or 12th state.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that high.
Maybe
like Nevada, Tennessee, Texas, Florida. I think Wyoming or something.
Maybe one of those.
Yeah, maybe Vermont. Yeah, maybe Alaska.
It seems to make sense, because that's a big. You see it in athletes,
right?
Because I mean, when you're dealing with millions of dollars at 5%.
This was more at the idea phase, but I know that one of the things that they were talking about was Governor DeSantis, good friends of Donald Trump.
They are now. They weren't during the primary.
Everybody has a rough patch.
Ron the Sanctimonious, isn't that his name?
Tiny Ron. I'm sure there was other things.
Yeah.
They had floated the idea of removing property taxes in the state of Florida, which would be the first place in the country where you could do that. And again, talk about a huge boon for the economy, because this would be the only place in America where you could buy land, pay for it one time, and own it forever.
Well, because we've already had a huge influx. I mean, as you mentioned, being in Polk County, we have seen so much growth going on here.
Building neighborhoods with hundreds of homes at a time.
Constant apartment buildings.
Right. And so I know that nationwide there is still a 7 million home deficit. So, from when we hit the recession, they just haven't caught back up. And so I feel like they're trying to build all 7 million here in Polk County.
Yeah.
They're at least attempting. I'm sure, obviously, it's nationwide.
But I think it's Florida in general. I saw that when they do the reapportionment of the House, that Florida is going to be gaining seats. California's going to be losing seats. New York's going to be losing seats.
Too expensive.
Texas is going to gain seats. So it's like all these places. And it's a weird mix because if you look at taxation's low,
right,
but our education systems aren't great. So is there a correlation between those two things? If you look at who has the best education systems, who has highest tax rates.
But possibly if we got rid of the Florida Department of Education,
Just get it all.
then
Just the chopping axe to...
we just go full circle.
Yeah.
Obviously, as educators, we realize the Florida Department of Education is one of the states, or is one of the governing bodies that actually handles curriculum.
Right.
Because we're done at a state level.
Sunshine standards.
The best.
Yeah.
That's literally, for those of you at home, that's literally what it's called, the best standards.
Best practices or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're not bound by those.
No. Private school does not have to abide by. So yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting to see. I think I like the three legs of the stool: the tariffs, the reduction in taxes, and then the general Doge efforts of efficiency. You know, anybody that thought they were going to be able to do this without pain, I don't think it fully thought through.
They said it. They said that, because they look at, Argentina, who had the reduction in inflation, and obviously they had a huge number of people losing their jobs because of that. But now they're on a steady path for it, where they're trying to balance the budget and get that inflation reduced.
Yeah,
because if you look at prices of things have started to drop.
Yeah, they've got the eggs starting to come down.
Eggs are down. Gas is down.
It's big.
So good things. Going off of this, kind of on a global idea. Have you heard the term brutal American?
No.
I came across this today.
Okay.
Brutal American. So it's the worldview that people now have of the United States. Because we're no longer seen as like the heroic come in and save the day. Because that was always kind of the land of opportunity.
For the last 80 years.
Right.
100 years.
Save the day, come in there. And now it's this called brutal American. It's where we only care about ourselves. And I think what's happening is that the shift has become, maybe that's true.
Right.
And that's almost like people see that as a positive, because we don't need to keep bailing out Europe or
policing other parts of the world.
Right. That is an issue that obviously
I didn't know that. I think it's maybe deserved, but also, I think it's time that we take care of ourselves a little bit.
Right. Well, because if anyone else does it, that's the way to do it. It makes sense.
Right.
But if we try to push that narrative on this side, it becomes xenophobic
and I don't claim
isolationist.
I don't claim to be a foreign policy expert, but I doubt that other countries are doing it at the scale that we are. Now, I say that, and on the other side, say China does have the roads and bridges program, where they were investing billions and billions of dollars in infrastructure throughout Asia and Africa.
Yeah.
But that was with a specific purpose.
Right.
That was not just generosity.
These places had minerals.
Absolutely.
Or certain mining.
Some other offset.
Wanted to have access to.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, here you go.
Hey, we thought you needed a road.
Right.
Here's buddy from China. We're here to help.
Meanwhile, there are have you ever seen the abandoned Chinese cities?
Yes, where they overbuilt.
Yeah,
right.
Like the old Olympic stadiums.
Yeah.
To the Olympics. Because I don't think people in the United States understand how big China is.
Right.
On a
geographically and population.
There are, I'm going to misquote this, but I think there's like 11 or 12 Chinese cities that are bigger than New York City.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're places you've never even heard of.
Yeah, the big ones, the Hong Kong, the Beijings, and the Shanghais, but
other than
name the next 9.
Right. But it's insane how many people live in China.
Right.
We can't even relate those numbers.
Absolutely. And that's why we need this quantum leap forward in all kinds of things. Like, for example, Nike. Nike got a new boss over there, a new CEO. And where did he go? He went to China.
Right.
And he looked at his management team and said, we have got some work to do, because they innovate. They've got technology in the cars over there that haven't even come close to hitting over here.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with overregulation. So Not to give Donald Trump too much of a pat on the back here all in one day.
Do we have a red hat?
Yeah, why are we not wearing MAGA gear at this point? But I do think his deregulation of industries like that, specifically AI, we do not want to fall behind in AI.
No.
We got there first.
You can't you can't catch back up.
No, right. It's AI.
Right. They're not going to slow down for you.
Exactly.
Hold on.
So
The Americans catch up.
yeah, China is clearly a massive place. And I think that globally, again, they're helping with self-interest in mind whenever they do any sort of charity work. And so
they are charitable with TikTok.
right.
They send all the good stuff
Yeah.
because the algorithm here
Yeah.
so much different.
Totally different than what they see there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's actually a tool in China.
Like an educational
Right.
tool. Right.
It's useful. Here,
They're like, hey, look at this dancing chicken.
right. Let me emulate that.
Right. We're going to study math. You check out this chicken for us.
I remember the trend of you would set up the camera and get out of your car. Did you ever see these?
I don't think so.
Where like the car is still moving
Oh.
and you're like filming yourself.
And the kids like ran themselves over.
Yeah, it's like people are,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's why the education system's broken.
Well, I'll tell
Any
you,
reason.
somebody that has it figured out, the group that paid $6.1 billion for the Boston Celtics.
I saw that. It sold for, it was like 220 in 2003 or something like that.
Yeah, it sold to a group led by William Chisholm.
I think he's a hedge fund.
Yeah, big money Wall Street guy.
That's insane because I think the first mega sale was the Clippers that went for over $1 billion.
Okay.
Ballmer.
Oh, yeah. Right.
With everything, like you want to be the big guy in the room, so you overspend and then you change the value of everything
Yeah.
going forward. So then,
Dictate the market.
right. So now everybody is in this $1 billion
Yeah.
value of franchises.
I mean, the NBA is just due to lack of time. Like I pretty much just watch professional football, which is a super weird take in Florida. Because in Florida, when I moved here, they said, "Oh, are you a Gator or a Knoll?" And I said, "I was planning on ordering the cheeseburger."
Right.
And so they don't really get that I don't get it, but in SEC country, and they spend all day Saturday watching football. Come Sunday, they're a little burnt out on it.
Yeah. I can't do college football as much.
Yeah.
The
So,
NBA, I used to be a big NBA guy, but not anymore.
oh, what happened?
Just too many threes. 3-pointers and bombs away. The Celtics,
Yeah.
they shoot like 63s. And that's not like hyperbole. That's like
They literally do that.
shoot
63.
Yeah. It's not fun to watch.
Well, I think that for our listeners who I know are loving what we have going on here, I want to make sure we cover one more thing because you have live footage of a real, actual national historical event that was happening. NASA astronauts return after 286 days in space.
Yeah. 286. They're supposed to be up there, what, 30?
Can you imagine?
30 days? What was
Hey, sweetie. Yep, I've been training my whole life. I'm super excited. We're gonna be up there for about 9 days. So you want to go to? Why don't we make reservations? We'll go to dinner. You know, in that 2 weeks. Go to Ruth Chris. It'll be great. Get it on the books.
Yeah. Holy smoke.
9 months later.
Because even that had some political intrigue. They said that obviously you don't know who's telling the truth in this situation, but
Right.
SpaceX had offered
Yeah.
months ago,
To
I guess, to go up.
Well, yeah, because it was Boeing's project,
Right.
and they
They haven't had a good couple years. They haven't had a good couple years. They had the trouble with the, what was it, the 740?
right. Yeah. They are hopefully on the rebound because they are a strong American company.
Well, and they
So-
just got that contract for that F-40
yes, right.
jet. So,
I don't think that we need to build more jets.
well,
I think we're entering the era of drones.
it said that they would fly with drones.
Oh, okay. I didn't
So
see.
it'd be like a joint strike force.
Oh, that is next level.
So you'd have like the manned and
Yeah.
the drone.
And then the unmanned. Yeah. Okay. So that's next level.
Yeah.
I do like that a lot. So we wish Boeing nothing but the best. But
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
don't you tell them? We're gonna throw it up here on the screen here. Why don't you describe what they're looking at here?
So when I got back from the cruise, I went to get breakfast because I wanted my last meal because I paid for it. So got up extra early,
Yes.
went to breakfast, came back to get our luggage, and all of a sudden I see this looked like a silo
Right.
floating past my room. I was like, oh, look at that. What is that thing? So I get closer to it and I see SpaceX.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God. So I get the camera out.
So this is
So
what
I
you're
start
looking at
filming.
right here.
And it is clearly, I mean, there's the soot
Yeah.
residue.
They blew this thing up.
Yeah, I mean, it was super cool watching it.
That's awesome.
Just float across. It was probably, I don't know, 90 feet tall, maybe. I mean, it was pretty big.
Yeah.
It was intense. Because, I mean, you're right at Canaveral.
Right. No, that's awesome just to see it floating by.
Yeah.
We watched a launch, or actually it was one of the scrubbed SpaceX launches, but they took you to a camera that was at the top of the launch pad and they did a 360 view. The number of launch pads out there now is incredible.
Oh.
Because when it was NASA, they had one or two.
Like the shuttle.
Right. And it was just like one or two. But now you've got SpaceX has pads, and then other private space entrepreneurs have pads up there. So
it's almost like the private industry can innovate faster. Who knew?
When they're not paying $1,000 for a toilet or whatever. Yeah, hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always the NASA hammer.
The way. All right. So you teased us earlier about this top 5 list.
Top 5. Yeah. So we're going to transition to a little bit. So the top 5 lists today, we're going to look at top 5 best TV shows.
Okay.
Compiled by Empire Magazine.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Empire?
Who isn't? My old buddies over at Empire.
So let me get to number 5.
Okay.
So obviously you got to get through a lot of shows. And as I was looking through the list, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot that show
Right.
even existed. And I'm not going to say this is not a top 5 that we are endorsing.
No.
By any way, because this would not be my top 5.
Right.
Frankly, I haven't even seen all of them. There is that. So at number 5, we have Succession.
Good show.
Have you seen Succession?
Yes.
No,
not from start to finish, but
oh my god,
I watched the first 2 seasons.
I've seen the whole thing.
I got to catch up on that. Honestly, I didn't finish Billions.
I didn't either.
Oh, okay.
Billions hit the magic 4-year mark.
Yeah.
And it got really dumb.
Yeah.
Now, what did Succession do? They ended at year 4.
See? Brilliant.
And they have one of the best intros.
Yes.
The music, I play it every time. Like, I never skip through the intro. I always play that.
Just let it roll.
It's Succession. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend that.
Yeah. High recommend.
About the, was it the Fox?
Murdoch's.
Number 4, I watched part of this, but I couldn't get myself into it, is The Wire.
Great. Loved it.
In Baltimore.
Baltimore, the drugs, everything. Loved it. Loved The Wire.
Yeah, I have not seen that, but I've heard really good things. It always shows up.
It is rough, but highly recommend.
As I look at this, I realize I haven't seen 3 of the top 5.
Oh.
All right. Number 3, which is also shocking that I haven't seen it, is Game of Thrones.
Nope, didn't see it. I kind of got the idea that you needed a flow chart to like follow it, and
because I remember seeing the first season and it looked very Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And I'm into that, so I think that's cool. But then it got like there's too many people dying, and then you knew who was dying because it wasn't a well kept secret.
Right.
And then it's just like this passing of power, and it was too much.
Yeah.
Too much. And once you get too far behind, you can't.
There were people that were religious about it.
Yeah, and I heard that they did not stick the landing. So I don't know how it made
for what that's worth.
Yeah. Number 2, this
Sopranos.
No.
Oh, okay.
Breaking Bad.
Yes, love it. Absolutely.
Bad. So all 5 seasons, I did watch that one from start to finish.
Okay.
I started that one. I think I came in late.
Yeah.
Netflix it.
Yeah, I was with
until the last season.
And it was so good that then, I watched the last season live.
Right.
Same thing.
Yeah, that was a good one. That had some really good drama. Good
dialogue.
Yeah.
They were clever in the way that they got things accomplished in the show. Yeah.
Right. There was always enough close calls that you felt like someone could get caught. Because a lot of shows, the problem is, that the main characters aren't going to get caught.
They're not killing this guy off.
Right. But in Breaking Bad, it seemed like obviously Walt and Jesse were off the table, but everybody else could have been gunned down at any moment in time.
That's right.
It made me never want to live in the Southwest. Not that I had any
plans
to do that. Now, number 1, as aforementioned, which I also have not seen, is The Sopranos.
Yes. Oh, you've never seen it?
No.
Oh, man, you have to.
I did go through a big mob phase.
I watched summer.
I watched The Godfather. I watched Godfather 2.
Okay. Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Casino.
I have not watched Casino.
You have.
But I know what it is.
You got a big summer ahead of you.
So there's that. Some of the ones that I thought should have made the list.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw my take here.
Let's hear it.
And this is any TV show. This could be sitcoms or anything. And my personal, I feel like Modern Family. If you're having a time,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, you're going to have a hard time finding a better show than Modern Family. It's on every spot. And Mad Men. Mad Men came in at number 11 on here.
I did like Mad Men.
I thought that was good. It inspired me to buy Suits.
Oh, yeah.
Full on.
Yeah, I remember you talking. Yeah, because we talked about that Joseph A. Banks.
Yeah, Joseph A. Banks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got me some suits. Joseph Abood. I used to drink apple juice because I couldn't drink an old fashioned during the episodes.
Okay.
I don't quite have that palate. I don't have that burned out.
Well, you didn't smoking on cigarettes.
It's straight. That
Yeah.
1960s liver damage.
Right. Well, yeah.
It's just a
Total lack of taste buds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So Empire's top 5. So we'll do a top 5. We'll come up with our own top 5s.
I love it.
Future episodes. But.
All right. I think that's great. I think that we'll definitely hit the top 5 next week. So, White Dads Who Can't Jump, tune back in next week to see what we're up to.
Yeah. We're going to drop every Wednesday.
Right.
We're going to be dropping on all the podcasts.
Yep.
And the stream on YouTube. So you can check that out.
Check it
Add
out.
some comments. Give us your own top 5 TV shows.
We'll talk to you next week.
All right.